Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Home Stretch. I'm Nina Soden with the Soden team of Legend Realty in North Alabama.
And I'm Frisby, mortgage loan officer with Victorian Finance.
Okay, Kat, today we are talking about real estate and asking your lender and your realtor the right questions before you start the process.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So, buying a home, one of the first steps you do is hiring your team, bringing your team on. And the only way to really do that is just like everybody else hires somebody, interview them.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so what questions, Kat, from a lender perspective, what questions should they be asking you and other lenders?
So, first up, you always want to reach out to a lender before you even step foot into a home, right?
Yes.
So,
Yes,
reach out to a
please.
lender. It just makes everything so much easier for everyone involved. But the biggest question I think was, how much do I comfortably qualify for, right? And there's a difference between how much is my max approval,
Yes, and what maybe
and what
you
and
can easily
yeah,
afford.
and what you're comfortable with, right?
Yeah.
Because you might be technically approved for an $800,000 home, but with an $800,000 home comes a big old mortgage payment every
Yeah.
month, and you might not feel comfortable paying that. So,
Well, and that's personal preference too, right?
Right.
I mean, you know your budget, you know what you would feel comfortable with, so you find out that max, and then you back that down to the monthly payment you're
Right.
comfortable with.
Right. And so I'll help you, of course, navigate that, and we'll get to that kind of magic number,
Yeah.
that sweet spot. You also want to find out and ask your lender what loan program works best for you.
You mean not all loans are the same?
No, not at all. And not every loan program works best for, every single person. So, some people might be thinking, oh, well, I have a 20% down payment, so I must just need conventional, right?
That's the one.
Well, once I price things out, it actually might make more sense to do something different.
Yeah.
Or, you're looking at USDA versus FHA. There's different costs and fees and pricing and rates involved with each program. And so, once I'm able to, run the numbers and look at each specific scenario, again, everyone's different. One program might save you more money over the other program that you thought you might be needing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So number one, how much do I comfortably qualify for? Number two, what loan program works best for me? And then what's my estimated payment? So you want to find out what your estimated payment is. Principal and interest is before, insurance and taxes. So you want to find out what your principal and interest payment is. That is going to stay the same for the life of the loan. Your principal and interest will not change. That payment will not change. However, once you add on property taxes and insurance, those numbers do fluctuate.
Year to year sometimes.
Property taxes typically increase every year, and then depending on homeowners insurance, that might also increase as well. So you may see your mortgage payment go up throughout the years, but just remember, it's not because of your principal and interest, it's because of the
For the most part, right?
Yes.
But then there are some loans, like ARMs.
Well, yes.
Adjustable rate mortgage.
Yeah. We're talking fixed rate.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Thank you for clarifying that. But yeah.
But talk to your lender about that, right? Make sure that what that program is, because there are times when an ARM makes sense.
Yeah.
We're not going to get into that today, but we will in another episode
We'll
sometime.
save that for another episode.
All right. What other questions should we be asking?
And then, we were talking, previous episode about, maybe right now isn't the perfect time to buy for you, but, ask your lender, okay, well, what's my plan? What can I do to prepare and get ready for when I'm want to buy? 6 months down the road,
Yes.
a year down the road, 2 years down the road?
It may be
Whatever,
a plan
yeah.
to improve credit. It may be a plan to reduce debt. It may be a plan to, reduce your debt to income ratio. For sure.
Yeah, sometimes, you're right there on the, we've got certain, income and employment guidelines that we have to follow depending on, the loan program. And so you might be right there close to, that 12-month history that we need for employment. And so it might just be as simple as, hey, just stay at your job for, a couple more months. So, but, just, coming up with a plan and what you can do to improve to get, the best, loan for you and get the best option, really.
Yeah, for sure.
And then also to, ask your lender, how long does this process normally take?
That is different from loan type to loan type, right? So there are some loans that are going to take longer. Say a VA assumable might take longer than a conventional loan.
Right, exactly.
So.
Yeah, you've got different loan programs that require different appraisals, and depending on the appraisal turn times, it could affect how long. So just ask, your lender all of those questions. So, there's a lot of questions to ask your lender, but Nina, as far as your realtor, when you're interviewing and shopping for your realtor, what are some important questions they should ask realtors?
So a lot of buyers get their information from national news, right?
Yeah.
So talk to your realtor about the local market. What is happening right now in our local market?
Yes.
In the area you want to buy, because national news does not accurately, portray what is going on locally. So definitely talk to them about that. Your realtor should be able to answer those questions and give you good, clear, concise information on what's going on right now where you live. Also, how competitive is the price range? If you're looking in a lower price point or a mid price point, you might have more competition than if you're looking at luxury homes, right? There's fewer buyers in that market. And it's dependent on the type of home you're looking for. If you're looking for condos or townhomes versus single family homes. So talk to them about that, with what you're looking for and what your price point is, how big is that competition? They can look at days on market and see how fast those homes are going.
And like location too, as far as
for sure.
where it's zoned, which school systems, and what it's close to nearby, the commute times, all of that, right?
Absolutely. We can look at days on market to show all of that. Another really good one is how you should prepare. We as your team are preparing on our end. We're getting all of our stuff together. But there's stuff that you can prepare, especially if you have to sell a home before you have to buy, or if you are in a current lease that doesn't end for a while. There are things that you can do to prepare for that. And then what you should expect. We can walk you through the entire process from the time we consult with you to the closing table and all of the things you should expect. However, I will say that every transaction is different.
Yes.
So there's a general, this is the line of what we go down.
Yeah.
This is what we should expect. But of course, things come up, right? Life happens, and we hit road bumps, and we come to you with resolution and solutions and see where you want to go from there. And finally, and this is a question your realtor should be asking you the moment you meet that first consultation, but if they don't, definitely talk to them about it, how you should communicate, what your best form of communication is, and what the realtor's best form of communication is, whether that's going to be daily text messaging, if you're going to do a weekly phone call, are you going to get daily emails or weekly emails? Are you going to just hear from them when they find something? How do you just want to reach out when you find something you like? That form of communication is very important. You should have a realtor with open communication.
Absolutely. That communication, I think, is key throughout this entire process. A couple of other questions that you should ask, us both really is, one, okay, what can worst case scenario, what can absolutely derail this whole entire process, my loan,
Yeah. There's a lot that can derail the loan. There's also a lot that can derail the actual transaction not affected by the loan, right?
Right, yeah. There's, a lot.
Yeah.
That can, so, of course, there's a lot that can happen on the lending side.
Yeah.
That can derail the transaction, but then, maybe the appraisal doesn't come back.
Yeah.
We've had that happen before where the appraisal came back, what was it, $50,000 less than, and so, I mean, sometimes those things happen.
Well, and it doesn't necessarily mean it derails it and it's no longer a
Right.
transaction.
Right.
That's just where negotiation re-begins,
Yep.
right? We start where we are and we renegotiate to see what can happen and what the seller and the buyer can agree to. So derail doesn't always mean stopping a transaction.
Right. And I think another, important question that kind of falls right into line with that is, what shouldn't I do?
Oh, gosh, yes. Yes.
Your lender and realtor should give you very clear instructions on what you should not do. Like, once you're under contract, day one, like, here are the things that you should absolutely not do.
Yeah. Just a few.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
just
we
a
might
few.
as well.
We
Just-
might as well.
Yeah, right.
Ones that we've actually
Encountered,
experienced
yeah.
and seen. Quitting your job.
Yes, please don't quit your job.
I mean, that's your income. Don't quit
Yeah.
your job,
Yeah.
right?
If you don't have a job, you can't pay a mortgage.
No, you won't
So,
get approved.
Yeah.
How about buying all the new furniture for your
Right,
new home
yep.
that you haven't closed
And you
on?
put it on a new credit card.
A new credit card.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
we,
fun.
There's underwriters, your lender, your processor, your whole lending team. We're going to find out. Like,
Yeah.
you can't sneak around.
You can't hide it.
You can't hide anything from us. I mean, we're going to find out.
Yes.
And, we don't want to find out the hard way.
No. 2 days before
Yeah,
closing,
and
3
so
days
please,
before.
if there is a situation that comes up where, you may need to, finance, like, say your car breaks down or something like that,
Yes.
and it's an emergency. Before you do anything, just please talk to your lender first.
100%.
And just be open and transparent, because it might be something that we can work through.
Yeah.
Right. Another thing that I've been seeing a lot lately that can, I'm not going to say derail the loan, but maybe make things a little bit more difficult was, don't overdraw your bank account.
Oh, yeah.
So, some people, have your checking account automatically linked up to your savings account where it just pulls money over. Well, that's still considered an overdraft.
Yep.
And so that is a factor that underwriters have to consider
Yeah.
when looking at your loan. So that's just another one that's been a little bit more recent lately.
Another one you might want to consider. If you are the type of person that just has a stash of money in your safe
Oh, gosh,
or under your
yeah.
mattress, no big cash deposits.
No.
They have to be able to
Source. Yes.
all of those.
And a picture of your cash in your safe is not a source.
And yes, that really
That
happened.
has really happened.
That has happened. So no, don't do that.
If you do have cash and you're going to use that cash, make sure you deposit that cash into your bank several months ahead of time. Before you're even thinking about talking
Yes.
to a lender or a realtor.
Now, another option for that would be to give that cash to a family member and then them gift the funds, right?
No.
No. Oh, but you can get gifted funds.
You can get gifted funds.
But they have to be able to source it.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
they could gift the funds from their own account,
Yes.
and then you could refund them.
Yes,
With
yeah.
that cash under your bed.
And the reason behind the whole cash thing is that they want to ensure that, none of the funds that are used in a mortgage transaction is illegal
Yeah.
or,
that makes sense.
fraudulent,
Yeah.
right? So it goes back to anti-money laundering. We've got to ensure that, our mortgages are, compliant and
Yes.
that none of the cash involved is from any type of illegal funding or sourcing.
So if there is anything that you don't know, if it could be something, oh, this might increase my debt, or oh, this might look weird if I put it in my bank
Right.
account, or, oh, I don't know where I'm going to get the money for this from, maybe a family member, just talk to your lender.
Yes, yeah. Yeah,
Know in
again, going back
advance.
to the communication and just being open and honest with your lender about like, okay, well, I don't have, the 3% for my down
Right.
payment, but, my parents do. What does that need to look like and what does that process look like? Because
Yeah.
again, your parents just can't hand you 3% in cash.
No.
And you bring cash to closing. There's a
No.
certain process for that. So just make sure you're having those conversations with your lender.
Absolutely.
And then, another big one is, how much do I need to bring, what's my budget? Like what is my
Yeah.
cash to close look like?
And you should be getting that from both your lender and your realtor.
Yeah.
Your realtor should be giving you what's called an estimated closing statement every time you talk money. So every time you put in an offer, or you receive a counter offer, or you just say, I really like this house, it's listed at this much, what might that cost me? Anytime you're talking money, you should get an estimated closing statement. It is an estimate.
Yes.
It is not the final numbers. The final numbers will come from your
yes,
lender.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, and the title company. So it's an estimate. Give us a little grace. But you can also request that from your lender.
Yeah,
Hey,
and
give
anytime,
me an estimate.
we'll send. Yeah, before you even go under contract, we can do some estimated worksheets to figure out, what that bottom number will look like. Again, it's not going to be down to the penny. I mean, it's
No.
impossible to figure that out just because there's so many factors that play into what closing costs look like. But, throughout the process, though, once you're under contract, I mean, you're going to be getting so many disclosures from us.
Yeah.
You're going to be getting, your initial disclosure, your closing disclosures, and then your final disclosure.
Yeah.
You're going to see those numbers over and over again.
And
From me, at least 3 times.
Yes.
From you,
Several
several times
times.
too. So,
Yeah. And if those numbers don't align with something you think you can afford, speak up,
right.
right?
Exactly.
Don't put an offer on a house that has you bringing $40,000 to the closing table when you know you have $5,000 in the bank
Right.
and no way to get the other $35,000.
Right.
Let's look at other options before we put that offer in.
Yes.
We need to make sure we know that that money is coming.
So, Nina, what are some so while they're doing these interviews
Yeah.
with their realtor and their lender and their team, what are some red flags that they should look out for?
Oh, definitely somebody that isn't going to explain or answer your questions fully, right? If they can't explain the process of buying a home or the steps to getting a loan or what happens if there is a hiccup in the process, if they can't explain what those solutions are and what that process is in a way that you understand it, right? And we always want to ask the question, get the answer, and then you should be reiterating, okay, this is what I heard. And is that really right? Because if you don't understand it, it doesn't matter how much or how often they explain it.
Right, exactly. Also, poor communication, I think, is another red flag.
Yes.
Like if you
Somebody
go,
that's not reaching out.
yeah, like if it's days that's gone by and you haven't heard from your realtor and you've just gone under like that's
not okay.
Yeah.
And unless you have a plan, right?
Right.
Unless your plan is to say every Monday we're going to talk and every Friday we're going to talk.
right.
But it really depends on the point in the process you're at.
Right.
In the beginning, you're going to have a lot of communication. In the middle, once you go under contract, you're going to have scheduled communication.
Yes. Yep.
Right? And then as it goes a little bit further, once you get past that clear to close and you're just waiting for the closing table, they'll reach out, you'll reach out, but the communication is going to be different depending on where you are in the process.
But we set those expectations, though,
Up front,
right? Yeah,
for
and just say,
sure.
hey, here's what that process looks like.
Yes.
This is when you can expect to hear from me.
Yes.
All of those things.
And how to hear from you.
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
we always have something too in the lender world where sometimes a no update is still an update.
It
right?
is, yes,
Yeah.
of
So,
course.
while we might not have an update for you right now, at least making a quick phone call or just shooting you a quick text to say, hey, haven't forgotten
Nothing.
about you. we're still working on everything. Everything is still going great. We just, I don't have any updates for
That's
you
right.
right now. But that way you're not wondering,
Yeah.
Like what's going on. No update
sure.
is still an update.
For sure.
Yeah.
Another one is an agent or a lender who is putting pressure on you.
Yeah.
Nobody can make you buy a house, right? You're going to buy a house in your time. Your lender and your realtor should not be pressing you to
Yeah.
make a decision, except if you are under contract, closing is coming, and you don't have all of your documents into your lender. You might get a little pressure.
Yeah.
Because you can't close
we
without
can't
it.
close without those
Yeah.
documents.
But
yeah.
in the beginning, in that general area, you're searching for a home. You should never have a realtor that's pressuring you. This is the one. This is the one.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make the offer today. If we don't make it today, it's not going to be here tomorrow. That is not good tactics, and
Yeah.
I would beware of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I mean, we're not here to sell you. We're here
No.
to educate you.
Yep.
And, help you throughout the process
Yes.
and just guide you. We're not here, to knock on your front door and try to sell you a vacuum.
Okay, so I actually had that happen
Yeah.
as a kid. My mom bought
Yeah.
this massive,
Was it a
expensive,
Kirby?
the big round one.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
The
Yeah.
gray.
My
it
mom
almost looked like the robot.
Yes, my mom
Yeah.
fell for that too.
Oh God, yeah, gotta love them. But no, pressure tactics.
Yeah.
No, it should not happen in this industry.
Yeah.
There will be times when, yes, maybe you feel like pressure is on because you have to get these things done to
Well,
close.
yeah, we have deadlines.
You have
Yeah.
deadlines.
Yeah.
And once you go under contract, the deadlines start both on the contract side and on the lending side. So you do have to be aware of those, but you should know those up front. Those should be completely, clearly explained to you. But nobody can make you buy a house. We're
Yep.
here to help you, guide you, and get you through that process and in your own time.
And I think another thing especially on the lending side of things is, anything that probably sounds too good to be true.
It is too good to be true.
I see a lot of times, especially if it's, lenders, competing for your business and, one lender might promise you, this really shiny, pretty rate. And, well, yeah, I mean, sure, I can get you a really low rate too, but the question is
Who's
what
paying for it?
how much is that going to cost me?
Yeah.
So while there are, again, kind of going back to those salesy tactics, some lenders, realtors, I'm sure too, will, kind of present clients with these, really pretty shiny numbers at first just to win your business. But
Yeah.
then once it comes time to actually close, those numbers look completely different than what you
different.
talked about in the beginning. And so, you want a realtor and a lender that's going to be transparent with you.
Honest.
And give you honest numbers. While we would love to promise you rainbows and unicorns, I mean, that's
Oh,
just,
yes.
not how it
It's
usually
not how it
goes.
always
Right,
happens.
exactly.
Yeah. So just remember that your real estate agent and your lender, they're part of your team. They're not here to push you or sell you. They're here to educate you and guide you.
Right. And the more questions you ask in the beginning, that's what we're here for, is we're here to help you. So the more questions that you ask in the beginning, the smoother everything
Yeah.
is, from there on out.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely.
And I know sometimes it's a lot to take in and sometimes it's overwhelming. But, you do what works best for you. If you
Yeah.
need to take some notes or if we need to break things up and over different, meetings or calls, then we can do it that way too. But it is a lot to take in at first, but the more you know in the beginning and the more you can ask in the beginning, the better
Yeah.
that it goes
For sure.
throughout the process.
And don't
So.
ever feel like there's a question you can't
Yes,
ask.
there's no such thing as a stupid question when it comes to
No.
this.
If you have that question, trust me, we have heard it before.
Mm-hmm.
So do not ever hesitate to ask the question. If you don't and you never find out the answer, how does that serve you?
Right.
So,
Exactly.
all right. Well, if you learned something, if you liked this video, please like it. Please subscribe so that you never miss a video and share it with a friend who might be looking to purchase a home.
Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm Kat Frisby with Victorian Finance.
I'm Nina Soden with the Soden team of Legend Realty. And we'll see you next
next time.
time on the home stretch.
Bye.
Bye.